Welcome back to The Wellness Woman. I am so excited to do a solo episode today. I must say, last week I couldn't manage to record one, so we took a little break, but I apologize. I had a bit of a week, and I can share very quickly what's happening so that you are up to speed. But today I'm also going to be talking about the fact that women are not broken, and I will explain in a second what that means. So first of all, before we start, just a big shout out to Nama Well. You guys know I love the juicer. If you're watching this on video, you can see how beautiful this juicer is, how fantastically well it works. It comes with 15 years warranty. I absolutely adore it. Now they have the J2, which also includes a blender, which means one machine does two things for you. And they have the M1, which makes barista level milks. All made at home, no plastic, no gimmicks, just the ingredient you want to use. I love that because when you have a company that pours all their resources into research and making products that really work, and they can back it up with supporting for so many years with a warranty, then you know you're spending your money wisely, you're investing in your health. And Nama has made a point of allowing us to have more plans just by allowing us to make great products right at home. So I truly love it. And as you know, I use my juicer for my green smoothies, for my green juices, pardon me. I love my green juices. I absolutely cannot live without them. They are just this power of nature, greens that start my morning so well. So if you want to save 10%, go into the show notes. I have also a nice little announcement that they have some discounts going on right now, so you can save even more. All right, so aside from that, I would love to share with you also that the Lumen Me, which I've used before in my latest episode alone, I shared about metabolic flexibility. So if you want to get yourself 20% off on this wonderful device, check it out because it is just great to learn more about your metabolic flexibility. And then last but not least, New Zest. I absolutely love using New Zest, good green powders, good green vitality, because they have everything. They're a great add-on to smoothies. Truly love them. And if you want to check them out, again, I have a nice discount code into the show notes too. So have fun with those. All right, what's been happening here? What has been happening is that last week, on Thursday, I went to help our vet who asked me for Marley to be a model for a new machine, like an ultrasound machine that he bought, and so the technician were explaining to him how to use it. So he wanted to use Marley as a model, and as we were using it, he saw something on her spleen. This is something that commonly used happens to dogs, generally big dogs, not small ones. And he said, okay, we need to talk about this. And it's a 1.5 centimeters, not even a 1.4 centimeters size tumor or cyst. We're not sure. We can't know what it is until we take it out and do biopsies. But we have to operate. So last week I was really on survival mode since Thursday because there was a shock. A rush of fear came over me, of course. Then I, started to calm down, but I didn't realize how much this impacted me until the weekend, really. First of all, I started just having reactions in my body, like edema again, like really feeling really bloated and having this water retention on my belly, like just my hormones were like all over the place, cortisol probably shooting high. Um, and although I didn't feel stressed per se, I knew something was up. And then I did a bit of emotional eating on Saturday, which I regretted severely, but at the same time, I try not to beat myself up with it. But it's mostly because not so much what I ate, but how. And and having this emotional response, trying to just drown my sorrows, if you want, in food, and that behavior is really what always got me into trouble. And I'm just trying to really nurse myself out of it. And I think, of course, I'm back into kind of balance right now, but it was a shock. So we did some animal communication sessions with a girl in Costa Rica. We did online. Um, I'm not gonna say that I'm not afraid that something bad is there, but at the same time, I know that I can deal with whatever diagnosis after like the um the tumor ends up being. Like if it's cancer, we will deal with it, because just like in humans, animals get cancer, but it's a systematic issue. So what's happening with Marley that is making her body welcome a cancer? So I know, for example, I had to improve her food, and I actually just went to a barf diet, which I know in English is like, are we throwing up? But a barf diet means biologically appropriate raw food. As a vegan, this is torturing my heart. I will not lie. Um, it is raw meat. Like, with the kibbles, you almost can deny what is in there, don't see it. But with the raw food, you can't. Like it's flesh. But I love it too much not to go for it. And I've done an extensive research this last week, even more, to see exactly what I can do. And I've gotten, the supplements and the medicinal mushrooms, but I'm not gonna give her anything herbal until we do the operation. We do the operation on Tuesday, because I don't want anything to interfere with the medication. But truly, I'm stocking up for supporting her health, even if it's not cancer after, because I don't want these tumors to come up again. We have to remove the full spleen, unfortunately. Um, I am more worried about the surgery, actually, because surgery is really heavy on the body. So I asked the doctor to have blood extra for her. We took um, a blood sample to see what type she is. Um, and it's expensive, but I want everything to be there in case something goes wrong. So, or there's an emergency in the operation. And so, I'm just really preparing. It doesn't matter that it's expensive. It's just like her life is priceless. Um, and equally, yeah, just really thinking how to support her after. So, this diet has to change. Again, very expensive approach, but she's worth every penny. Um, and really just looking after her, my baby, because she is my child, and I cannot think of my life without her, really. So aside from that, this is really what's been happening. So last week I just didn't have it in me to do an episode, not to interview anybody, not to do it on my own. I just didn't have it. Now I'm just thinking to stay calm and to think positively. Everything will be fine. I'm exhausted a little bit from, news and the stress, but equally, again, I need to really bring myself back to center and deal with this in the most mature way, because I'm worrying about things I don't know. So as always, if we don't know, we shouldn't worry about them, because we cannot control it, right? So, but today's episode is actually not about my struggles. I am trying to plug in here. There you go. It's not about my struggles. Today's episode is about us women not being broken. I had so many amazing consultations this week. Like I love that I'm having an array of wonderful clients that really want to get better, that trust me with their health, that are so open. And I think what makes them feel comfortable is definitely that, especially when I talk to them about things that we need to do, I am so open to speaking to their doctors, so that there is a dual support, if there is a physician involved, right? If there is medication involved, and they see that this is not like me giving them a fake fix or saying that medications is bad. Actually, they love the fact that we can combine a more integrative solution to their meds, and really feel like, you want us to be well, and you're not going to just take chances. That I find best ways possible to see when we have to have any supplements, and when we don't need them. So those things are truly, truly important. Um, and I love that I get so many women now in menopause that, the struggles are so real. And they made me think about something, and I want to bring this forth. As we go through perimenopause and postmenopause, our transitions are quite intense. especially the perimenopause to menopause. This is like the zone of chaos because things are happening in our body. We feel in a different way. We have these reactions that we never had before, with whether it's emotional, whether it's tolerance to stress, whether it's sleep, whether it's our hormones that it dictate how our cycles work, whatever is happening through this period of time from our 30s, mid 30s, all the way to our menopause, which normally it's about 52, 51. The that time of chaos can be intense. And one of the things that comes up a lot is loss of libido. So I was talking to my a lot of my perimenopausal clients and then my menopause postmenopausal clients, and there's this thread of libido maybe there, but we unfortunately don't have a sex life, and especially later in life for women that stay married. I have experienced this conversation with so many women. I asked this question because obviously our sexual health is equally as important as a man's. We may not reproduce after menopause, but it's also about feeling wanted, feeling desired, feeling sexy, feeling good in our bodies. And that goes away if we don't have the person that is with us making us feel in a certain way. But more than the physical, it's like that emotional connection, right? And I think what happens sometimes in marriages is that because as women we take so much on for many, many years, when it comes to the intimacy later in life, we almost give up because we feel like, oh, what is the point? And I'm old. I don't have to have it now. I mean, a man would never think that. A man, unless they have erectile dysfunction problems, they happily have sex in their 50s and 70s, like 60s, 70s, even 80s sometimes. Like if they are in condition to do it, they will think about it. But for us women, because it's not just a physiological response, it's more of like an emotional support response. When we are with our partners, we want to feel like we are really in a place where we can communicate. This is what they don't get sometimes, which is really, really annoying. It goes to a place where we just give up. And I mean, even when you're alone and you're going through divorce, like for example, I am going through divorce and I am alone, and I just like the last thing on my mind is finding somebody to sleep with because I just don't have the patience. I don't have the strength. I am still processing a lot of stuff anyway, but the point is, I feel like at this point in my life, if I had to be physical with somebody, it would have to be somebody so special that I connect with emotionally, because just the physical stuff doesn't do it for me. And so I understand women that are staying married to a man. Of course, they don't cheat and they just give up on it because it's like, okay, well, my husband is not meeting me with these emotional needs, the support, the feeling inside that we want to feel protected and safe. They don't get it. If unless they do the work, they don't get it. Um, that definitely takes us to a space where we just give up on it. And I think it's really sad. And a lot of women think, well, I'm broken, right? I don't know why I don't want to, but I'm broken. I'm like, no, actually, we are not broken. This is a safe response, right? It's a response of people can just put it down to the physiological. Well, we're not reproducing anymore. We don't want to have sex, but actually, it's not that, because desire comes also with oxytocin. And if to get oxytocin, you have to feel the connection to somebody. You can't just get it, in a pill. Or maybe you can, but I don't think it works. And but it's more than that, right? It's a mental, spiritual connection to the other person that makes you want to become physically connected too. So we are not broken when we don't want to have sex with our partners. We have to just ask ourselves, why is this happening? And if there is a libido issue, that's when then we can also talk to practitioners and see what's going on. And there are also things that we can do with our lifestyle, our diet to help the libido. But first of all, recognizing what is happening in our personal life, why, the why, the root cause, always a theme in naturopathy. Like we don't just prescribe for symptoms, we try to find the reason why things happen. And so, and I love that about naturopathy because it keeps us really focused. So one thing that I would say is, first of all, change your diet, because having a diet that gives you enough nutrients, Don't worry about calories, focus on nutrients. It will help you stabilize your hormones. Hormones are the angels of the body, the communicator, the messengers of the body that will tell you exactly what's going on and dictate if you're having desire or not. And it's so powerful to have that understanding about hormones. I speak about it all the time on my videos on YouTube that are shorter and or Instagram. But like even in the podcast, our hormones are messengers, so we need to listen to the messages they're sending, because they either send us messages telling us everything is okay and everything is working, or it's alarm bells, right? And it's like, we're out of balance, something is not right here. And I'm not talking about the fluctuations that happen daily, monthly. Those are normal. Those are physiologically normal responses. I am talking about really this perpetual tiredness or no libido or low stamina. So looking at these hormones, and it's not just estrogen and progesterone, testosterone has a part to play too. And unfortunately, many countries don't have testosterone prescribed for women or designed for women. So sometimes in the US, for example, where there's none of that, they need to use FDA approved male testosterone and adjust the amounts for women, which makes it very complicated. And you need a practitioner that understands what they're doing, because a lot of women also think if you take testosterone, you're going to have a coarse voice and a beard, and that doesn't happen with the amounts that we're looking at. You're not a transgender, so you're not taking a massive amount to become actually a man and to coarse your voice and so on. So those things have to be like understood about hormones. They fluctuate, they tell us what's going on, and maybe at some point there is a need to actually support the body by taking HRT. Maybe sometimes there isn't. Maybe sometimes we can just tackle it with lifestyle. So lifestyle and diets are the first steps. Are you eating well? Are you eating enough protein? Are you drinking and keeping hydrated? Are you eating whole foods versus junk? Are you making sure that your blood glucose is stable? Because that too can can impact our libido. Are you making sure that your cholesterol is in check? Are you making sure that you have enough plants and fiber in your diet? Like there's so many variables that we have to look at, and they are really essential for this. And then lifestyle. Are you exercising? Are you doing weight bearing exercise where like you actually stimulate a lot of positive feel good hormones? Are you walking in nature? Are you any sport that you like even? Are we making these efforts? Are we in check with our body to make sure that our body composition is not going out of whack? And I'm not talking about weight on the scale, that can change and it sometimes means nothing. It's more about composition. Do we have fat where we're not supposed to have it around our organs, visceral fat increasing as it creeps up as we get older? Or are we actually managing to stay fit and stay in a place where it's healthy and risk free from having like heart attacks or dementia? Like we have to look at health as a marker for things like libido, or libido as a marker for our health as well. So they go both ways. So I think having that part really being covered and being supported is incredibly helpful. If you want to support your hormones naturally, things like Vitex or Chestberry for estrogen support, and for progesterone, you can look at wild yams. They are possible. You can have those in a cream form. You can have them as herbs and drink the wild yam, or take it as a supplement. And the Vitex as well. They have them as tinctures, for example. Um, but cream's actually great. So there's Anna's cream that has got both Vitex and wild yam, and you can use it in your cycle, and maybe can help you get a little bit more libido back. Understanding which foods promote your estrogen and your progesterone and testosterone. And again, it really does go back to fiber and balancing blood sugar as a main component, because when those are out of wax, we just don't feel great. Moving our body. I mean, without moving your body, the best diet can possibly not work, right? So all these kind of elements come together. They are really, really important. And the other things you can do, of course, is making sure that whatever herbal, and if you don't have medication, that's simpler because there's no interactions. And of course, as teas is the safest as well, because the amounts are very, very controlled. If you have nowadays, obviously, if you buy tinctures, they come with the instructions. Don't overdo it. Don't go over the prescribed amount that is on the bottles, because it's not wise. Likewise with I know with supplements, like a lot of people think they can just add on as much as they want, and it's not the case, especially with fat soluble vitamins. Do not go crazy, like absolutely not. So those are very important things to think about and to navigate. And I feel that women sometimes they forget to look after ourselves because we perhaps think it's too late, or there's nothing we can do about it, or that we're broken and there's no fixing. And I cannot disagree more with that. I have seen miracles happen. Now, of course, aside from the physical things, is the, as I said, the emotional part connecting to our partners. But then what does it mean for our marriage if we are not happy? What does it mean for our marriage is if we don't have any relationship, physical relationship with our husbands? Well, this is a choice that everybody needs to make, right? If you're happy with staying celibate in a way, throughout the rest of your marriage, that is possible. You know, you could be best friends with someone and love each other in different ways than physically, and it could work. And if it's not at the expense of your pleasure, though, because I feel like giving up on having those feelings and even orgasms are so healthy for the brain, so healthy. So giving up on them is kind of sad because it's like you're giving up on life, you know? So, and I know it's difficult again, as I said before, and women, unlike men, we don't just get an orgasm by having sex. Like it's so complicated. It's a very complicated mechanism where we have to feel safe. We have to feel seen. We have to, it's not just about I'm turned on. You can be turned on, but not reach one. Many women don't. We don't have the awareness and the connection to our pelvic floor. And and one thing that I definitely want to stress about dealing with trauma. Having trauma can actually stop us from wanting to be intimate, or it can stop us from achieving an orgasm when we're intimate. So, dealing with trauma is incredibly important. And again, if that's you, if you're struggling, you are not broken. There is a reason why, and we need to find that out, right? So, being honest, brutally honest with yourself, and journaling and understanding what's stopping you, because our pelvic floor is where we retain a lot of stress, not just physically, but emotionally as well, because that part is the creative part of the body. And if we feel intensely stressed, if we feel unsafe in any way, shape, or form, emotionally too, that part locks up. And then reaching an orgasm is going to be hard. Wanting to have sex is going to be hard, maybe even painful. And so we tend to not explore these opportunities anymore because we don't want to have pain physically, emotionally, we don't want to release anything in there. The other part is in postmenopause, and this can happen from perimenopause, of course. Notice if you are becoming drier in your vaginal area. If your vagina is getting drier, there is atrophy that can happen, and this really does require a little bit of mindfulness. Now, there are ways to do this. I personally love to massage the vulva and massage the cervix part entryway with coconut oil. I think coconut oil is God sent nature lubricant, honestly. Like it is antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It's moisturizing. It smells nice. It's just nice. Like it's just perfect. And if you massage your vaginal area, the inside of it, with coconut oil every day, you will actually reduce the dryness side effects, which means maybe cracking in the wall of your vagina or having itchiness or burning or even UTIs. And because the coconut oil is antibacterial, what happens is it is also not allowing bacteria to grow into the area. Normally, we have a pH that is quite acidic to maintain homeostasis into bacterial overgrowth, so that we don't get, we don't get bacterial overgrowth growth problems, vaginal, what's it called? Bacterial vaginosis, for example, which is what would smell really awful when you have it, when people have it, or having dryness, painful sex. Like if it's dry, it's painful. So always using a lubricant is important. And sometimes actually, coconut oil can be that, and it's great. For some women, the option, especially in postmenopause, could be to use HRT, so vaginal estriol. which is very light in comparison to estradiol, and it can help with UTIs. It can happen, of course, help with the dryness, but just the UTIs alone is such a bonus because like having infections in our urinary tract is pretty awful and it can be dangerous. It can actually travel up to our kidneys, and a kidney infection can be lethal. So a lot of women actually die because of that. So it's not acceptable. But having these kind of methods of dealing with this dryness and with the dryness and with the loss of hormones so that we are not impacted and we can still enjoy a sex life if we want one, then it is something to discuss and talk about. So I think this is very helpful. Making sure you don't wash yourself with harsh soaps, especially in our intimate areas, so that you don't dry it out more, and any age really, but especially through our perimenopausal to postmenopausal years, being really mindful about how we basically look after ourselves. This is a component of wellness that I think we need to talk more about. I know that there are some amazing gynecologists out there that do speak about it. I know some people are against even the vaginal estrogen. There are some people that are pros. And just to be completely transparent, my gynecologist offered it to me, and I had said yes, but I had a reaction to it because my hormones are just not yet into that menopausal stage, right? And the reason why she offered it to me is because I had lowering hormones due to hypothalamic amenorrhea. This time last year or May, I had a very I was very stressed emotionally, very, very stressed. I had a very difficult emotional time. I didn't realize how much I was affected by it. It feels like this time of the year is just always a little stressful. But I lost my period in June. It didn't come. I had lost a lot of weight. Like I just dropped weight, and my period didn't come. Then it came in July, and then it just stopped since last July. So it's been in July will be a year that I don't have my period. Technically, that would bring you into menopause. But when we check my hormones, I can see that my FSH is not high actually, and it's not that my body's trying to make more hormones. My brain, my hypothalamus, is actually saying is telling the body not to get pregnant, not to ovulate. So want to keep everything like it's stable. There's not pushing to create more because I can't. It's pushing not to create anything because I can't. I have been too stressed. And the thing is, nutritionally, I'm fine. Like I check my nutrients in my blood work and everything is fine. And of course, I know that that's not a all, tell all. I mean, the fact that I don't have my period, that tells more about my body. I am a very low percentage of fat. That is true. And it's really challenging for me now to put it on without the struggle of changing how I look. Now that I'm not just so used to being a smaller body, and especially because I eat a lot. But I don't eat a lot, I don't eat enough fats. And I'm trying to really find a balance. But I also know that because of my issues with body dysmorphia, that I need to take it easy. I cannot just go from 51 to 59, which is ideal body weight, and not get a shock to the system. So I have to slowly, slowly, slowly get there. And I think I'm really doing better like now. I don't know. This week I feel like it's working. I am definitely putting a little bit of weight on. But it does fluctuate. And I don't know if this is bloatness from the stress or if it's actual weight. My fat percentage is still low. But you know, this is the difference though. But I I think it needs to work for you when you take HRT. So just like I had a reaction, I had to stop it. If you are someone that's having a reaction, then immediately talk to your doctor and maybe you either adjust the amounts or you stop it. Because we can't just feel horrible with it, right? We have to understand what's going on. This is why I don't agree with doctors that are, I mean, I spoke to so many gynecologists in the hospitals that are like, they just basically give a prescription without measuring the hormones just to every woman. And I don't understand that you can do that. Like you need to know what's going on in the body before you give them uh, hormones, like how much you need, right? So I also don't like taking internal hormones, HRT. I actually prefer the patch because I think you can dilate better with it, but also it doesn't go through the liver, straight into the blood. So the liver gets a break. No need to break down things in the liver even more. The poor liver is working hard enough. So there are all these things to consider as well. And again, even though vaginal estriol does not impact generally the hormone balance of the body, if you are sensitive to hormones, as I am, it clearly can. And so I had this edema from my navel all the way to my knees as a reaction. And it was really scary and painful. It's like I feel inflammation in my body, and it's taking me a couple of weeks to get over it. So that's really what I wanted to share. But don't be afraid of talking to your doctor about using HRT. Don't be afraid to talk to a therapist about sex, intimacy. Don't be afraid to talk to your partners. Maybe, and actually, to be honest with you, if you talk to your partners and they're not receptive, maybe this is something to also consider. When are you happy to let it go that far, or when are you thinking that you have to make different decisions? Sometimes we forget that we also deserve to be number one in our life, and especially as we go through our menopausal years, this is the time to be a little bit more self-centered. And not talking about selfishness and not caring for anybody, but actually just wondering, what do we want, and actually doing something we want. That is the ultimate goal of this process of life. We don't have children anymore, if we had any that are living with us or depend on us. We don't have, some of us in menopause, you're not working anymore, you're retired. You have the time to enjoy life. And one of the joys of life is to have a sexual relationship with your partner. So try to be honest about that part. There is a lot of women just say it's fine, I don't mind, and I'm like, no, you're saying it only because truly you feel that this is the answer you have to give, and that there is judgment if you think otherwise, because we still live in a patriarchal society, which, quite honestly, let's get over it. Because if men can have that feeling that they want to have a relationship with a woman that is physical in their late years, why can't we? Like, why? Why are women having to be martyr of society, that we need to sacrifice our pleasure? Because I'm not saying you have to go out there and sleep with anybody. I'm not saying that you have to be promiscuous and behave in a way that doesn't make you proud of yourself at all. If you don't meet anybody, please, like, honor that. Like, it's fantastic that you actually, like, no, it's more than that. It's more than just the physical. I agree with that. But it's more like the intention of, I can't do it because, I was told it's a bad thing. That I just don't get. I don't understand it. It makes me really, really sad that we are still there. So I hope this can open a conversation. Put your comment on YouTube or on Spotify. Let's open the conversation. If you are listening or getting a snippet of this on Instagram, just go to the show, either the video or the audio on Spotify or Apple, YouTube for the video, and just listen to this and then share. Because if we open the conversation, we are powerful together, and I think that's so valuable. We forget that we have a voice and we need to use it. But guys, I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed the episode. And as always, if you want to know more and you want to get more involved, if you have speakers that you want me to interview, share it. But also share comments and your reviews of the episodes, because we can grow with your support. And this is a very small podcast right now, not financed or backed by anyone. And I truly, truly need your support. When you buy from the brands that I support and work with, of course, you're supporting me, because that means I make an income that can go toward paying for things, for the podcast. But even if you're just sharing online, that's a massive support, and that doesn't cost you anything. So if you're not following on YouTube, please do. If you're not following on Instagram, please do. If you want topics that I cover and explain more about, share. I'm all about that. I'm all here for you. See you soon. Bye.